I'm a neonatologist in Colorado Springs, where I've been for 18 years or more or less with Mednax in the community practice in a large level 3 to 4 NICU and 2 other community hospitals. I spent my first decade, a little bit more than that, in academic neonatology.
How did you get into medicine? Were you inspired by a woman to enter the field?
Both of my parents were physicians, and so my mother was definitely a role model in many ways, and her father was a physician. So I come by it kind of as the family trade.
Sure.
And I have a daughter who's a surgeon.
What do you think it means to be a woman in healthcare today?
I think that's a tough question to answer, because I think for much of my career I've really tried to think about being in healthcare as something that's a diverse community that includes a lot of different people, and I don't I try not to sort of look at things through a lens of gender, but I think women bring some diverse lived life experiences and can play unique roles in their families and on teams. And so we have our cultural perspective that we bring. I think that women in healthcare do face some ongoing challenges that they have to address that affect the experience of being a physician or other provider. But it's an incredibly rewarding and wonderful career path, and healthcare is a great way to make a difference. So,
what are some of the challenges of being a woman in your specialty and just the healthcare field in general?
Well, I think there are some specific things about being a woman. Like, you are still more likely to be mistaken for a nurse, or even called a nurse after you've introduced yourself and had a deep conversation with families. I think there are cultural stereotypes that we all have to face, and one of the challenges is trying to figure out how to do that with some perspective and grace. That women are paid less. Women seem to have to work harder to get farther. Women are not equally represented in leadership roles. So I think all of those things are still happening, although it's better than it was 30 years ago. It's unfortunately still part of the community. I had a conversation with my daughter when she was a teenager, where she said, "Oh, Mom, I'm so glad we won't have to face any discrimination in the workplace anymore, because your generation has taken care of that." And now she's a woman surgeon, and she's like, "I can't believe I said that."
What are some of the positives that come from being a woman in healthcare?
I think it really is an incredibly rewarding career in terms of the difference you make in people's lives, the opportunity to use science as well as caring and creating connections with peoples and working on teams. I can't think of a better, more exciting and more of a privileged place to work. And one of the things I think that I think about a lot is how we see this incredibly broad cross-section of humanity and of the world and our culture and other cultures. And so we get this intimate connection with families and view into society that you wouldn't otherwise get. So I think for women and men, but it's a wonderful career path, and to make a difference, to relate to families and to connect with people.
What advice do you have for women who may be applying to medical school or entering the medical field for the first time?
I think that it can be a difficult road, so it's important to identify your goals, set goals, try to follow them and stick with it, to cultivate resilience and recognize that some of the barriers that are in the way are cultural and don't take them personally. So persevere and so set goals, find your passion and pursue them.
How do you think women physicians can best support fellow women physicians?
I think in 3 ways: sponsorship, mentorship, and coaching. So we can help other women by sponsoring them for leadership positions, mentoring them as they come up in their career paths, and coaching them about how to deal with some of the obstacles and challenges in a productive and successful way. I think one of the biggest challenges that I hope gets taken care of sooner rather than later are the salary inequities. I don't understand why there are still differences in how women and men are paid or compensated in the workforce these days.
Anything else you'd like to add that we haven't touched on?
I think that neonatology in particular is a great career path, and I think Mednax has done an incredible job of career development and focusing on helping us all do the best we can to take the best care of patients we can, to give us support along the way, and really focus on the patients and families' needs. So neonatology is wonderful because it's, a great combination of intensive care and relationships and multiple different areas of health. So I just wanted to put in a plug for neonatology.